بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
It's two ways I can go on in this program. Number one, everything I say, I give a reference with it. Then I need about 3-4 hours. Number two, keep it simple. Just say these are the things you have to do. What's the reference? You can come back to me. I showed you the reference. So I'm going to do the second way. I want to finish by Isha today, inshallah ta'ala. To keep, and there's what you call it, snacks at the back. You can get a tea, whatever you need. All the brothers will help and bring the tea down to you, inshallah ta'ala. So let's start from the program. Number one, first step is that you found out that someone is dying. Can I have a volunteer? So this is, inshallah, Allah forbid, Allah give him long life, he has to get married, lay down, and he has to have children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So this is just we found out that I'm dying. Now, how do you find out that I'm dying? Will you see any signs? Number one, nowadays the doctors will tell you this person has got another 24 hours, 6 months. They say that to everyone. All right? I've seen people that said that this person got another 4 months and the person has lived another 20 years. So, whatever the doctor says is not necessarily right. All right? So, you found out I'm dying first. All right? And what would the sign would be? So, how would you find out I'm dying? Number one, some signs for has written the temples will go inside. These will go inside. Yeah? Number two, the nose will get a bit bent. Yeah? Nose will get bent, temples will go inside. Now these are the signs from before that this person is ready to depart from the world. Now what do we do at this time? We control ourselves. Do we scream? No, we don't scream. Do we start crying? No, we don't. We control ourselves. This person is in taklif now, and shaitan is working on him now. He wants to deviate him or her, take them off the right path, and wants him to go to Jahannam with him. Now he's working on top of me at the same time. Now what do we do as family members? We make sure the majority of the family members, they are there, not crying there, not screaming there. Because he doesn't want to stay, he can't stay here. And if he makes a wrong choice at this moment, this is the dangerous time he is in. So what we need to do is start reading Yasin. Why? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us to read Yasin. It makes the deceased death easy. The person who's passing away makes the death easily his soul comes out. Yeah? Number one, read Yasin. Read in your heart. Yeah? Read Yasin. Number two, have you read the kalima? What's the last thing you heard from him? If you haven't heard the last thing from him, a kalima, so read by him, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Or la ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. Don't tell him to read. He's in pain, he could be in pain. And because he's in pain, he can say, get lost, you're killing me, I'm not dying. So he could deny the kalima. You don't want him to deny anything. So he or she, what you want to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, in front of him, say the whole kalima, and the person will remember, oh, this, it looks like I am departing. And then he will say the kalima. If he says or she says the kalima, do not repeat unless they have talked worldly again. So I said to him, kept on saying la ilaha illallah, and you say kalima? He said la ilaha, he hasn't talked now. Suddenly I said, how are you feeling? He said, I'm okay. Now I have to remind him again to make sure the last wording that has come out of his mouth, man qala la ilaha illallah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that whoever last word is la ilaha illallah dakhal al jannah, he will enter what? Jannah. So that's why I want him. He said kalima la ilaha illallah. Now this person has passed away. How will I know he's passing away? The next sign. So the soul comes out from the feet, all right? So first you go from here. So when he, exactly like this, he dies, all this a flap. Yeah? So it's going out slowly. And the last part, it comes out from his what? Eyes. So it starts from here. Yeah? So if he is a bad person, The angels will come. وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذِ الظَّالِمُونَ مَوْقُوفُونَ وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذِ الظَّالِمُونَ في غمرات الموت. When he's in غمرات الموت, right, if he's a bad person, the angels will say, "Get, come out." The soul doesn't want to come out. It will keep on going back, and it will come there, then it stop there, then it stop there. Be hard. The angels will be pulling it out. If he's a pious person, the soul will want to come out of joy quickly, but it has a time. So it will still, you see the body moving either bad or good sometime. So the soul will come out from here, the ruh will come out from here, then it stop here, then there, then there, then there, and the last part it goes out from what? Your eyes. Yeah. So you see, this is all flapping down, alright? All gone now. Now slowly it's coming out. When the soul comes out and you are sure, either the doctor says the person has passed away, now the second thing you need to do is what do you need to do? So the person has passed away, his eyes are open. Sometimes, not always. So you close the eyes. Yeah? Why? Abu Salma passed away, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came and his eyes were open, he closed his eyes, Rasulullah said close his eye. Yeah? The second thing you do, his mouth is open your mouth. Yeah? So then what you do is you get a piece of cloth, you rip it, alright? And whatever is available, you tie under his chin, alright? Alright? Close it gently, alright? Yeah? Close it gently and tie over here. Yeah? Tied over here? That's one thing you do. Next thing you do is his eyes closed, mouth is closed, alright? Try your best as much as you could. Sometimes you can't close it, but you have to close it because the body is still warm. At this moment, you can do everything. Close it. Next thing, his hands are here. Put his hands down like that. Yeah? On the side. Not on top of his chest. Yeah? The next thing you do is you come here and you tie his toes together. Yeah? Because if you leave it like that, it will stay like that. After about half an hour, 45 minutes, the body will freeze, alright, and then it will stay like that. Yeah? You done that? Now, there's a pillow underneath him. Take the pillow out. Make sure the body is totally flat. Totally flat. Because if you leave a pillow or anything, that will freeze like that. It stays like that. Sometime after ghusl, it stays like that too. So make sure the body is flat totally. Everything totally. When you've done all that, his nose, his mouth, eyes closed, hands on the side, tie the toes, everything. Then the next thing you do, you cover the body out of respect. Alright? Cover the whole body. You understand? Yeah, get up now. Yeah, let's. I want another volunteer for ghusl, not yet. So we done all that. Is there anything you have not understood already?
Turning the face toward it.
Yeah, when you realize this person is passing away, it's best to turn the face if it's easily towards the Qibla. Yeah, turn the face towards the Qibla, and whatever dhikr you can do, read Yasin, and whatever you can do good things, do that. In this time, this person has passed away. Now, when you realize this person has passed away, what is the legal requirements? Now, I'll ask Hafiz Yasir Sahib to come and explain the legal requirements required for this now. Now, the next thing is more, you need to know that Islamically is sunnah to make sure the person is buried as quick as possible. Janaza is done quick as possible. Ji? Do you need care? Yeah, he's okay. Young yet. Yeah. Do the janaza quick as possible, alright? So for that, we need the legal things done quick as possible, yeah?
Assalamu alaikum.
Explain the legal requirements.
Assalamu alaikum. So carrying on from where Mufti Sahib stopped, we'll go back to the beginning of someone when they pass away. There's a different circumstances to where they pass away. So if someone is terminally ill, usually the doctors will tell you, look, this person's about to pass away, you can make the preparations, you can sometimes contact the funeral directors and you make those preparations. That's normally the easiest method, and it's the fastest point from when a person passes away, the body is then released, and to the death. But there's other circumstances in which it's not as easy. From the point, sometimes it can be from someone having a sudden death, or someone who's also in hospital but they die and the doctors want further investigations. That can then take a lot of time to then release the body. So, and let's say in a situation you're in where somebody's terminal. So if someone's terminal, a family member, we're all going to come across this one day. So if someone's in a terminal situation, what we advise usually to the families is that from that beginning stage, they point out one of the people who are in the family as a point of contact, and also a person who will lead everything after the death. So that will be a person who will deal with the doctors, who will deal with the coroners if necessary, who will deal with the funeral directors, and at the same time there's quite a lot of paperwork that needs to be covered. So that one person, we usually advise, there's one person that's appointed and that person is responsible, they're aware and they're available the whole time. The problem with our community is that one person dies and then there's 10 of us that know the situation, and then we all get stuck. That always causes a problem. It causes delays everywhere. It causes delays at the hospitals. It causes delays with the funeral directors, and then the burials and Janaza. Everything gets very complicated then. So that's the first thing that we advise, that one person is the point of contact and that person is a responsible person. That person's duty then, if at a hospital ward, they should identify the person or the doctor or the consultant who's on that ward. They should identify him or her and make sure that they're available at the time of death or just after death for the main piece of paperwork that you'll require to release that body. That paperwork is called the medical certificate. So the medical certificate identifies that this person has now passed away, the reason they've passed away, where they've passed away, and who signed it off. So in an ideal situation, if that piece of paperwork is given to you, then you have a very simple process of releasing the body to the burial. But the only way you'll get that is if you have access to that doctor or consultant and they will sign it off for you. If in any case the doctors are causing delays, a lot of the times they do, but alhamdulillah at the moment they're aware of our community and they're aware that we need to bury our dead quick. So then they'll be sometimes very receptive to you and they'll say yes, it's okay. Sometimes they'll want to take a bit longer, but our advice then is that one person who's nominated should always go forward and request it, and don't leave that ward or hospital or wherever you are until you have that. That's in a circumstance where it's terminal and it's obvious that person has passed away. Obviously without too much confrontation to the doctors, keep a good relationship with them, but as soon as you have that piece of paper, then you're okay to then, sometimes they'll allow you to release the body. From there, at the moment, the people that deal with it the best at the moment from our own communities is a Medina Masjid. They have their own storage facility if needed, but I think the most local one to this one is in Mackham Place. That can be used. Masjid Bilal is a place to be used. Obviously, inshallah, when the new masjid opens from here, I'm sure they'll have a space there as well. So the body then goes to that position there. At the moment now, there's, I think in the last 6 months or so, the governments have introduced somebody who will be there to scrutinize every death, whether suspicious, whether expected, it'll always be there, and that person is called the medical examiner. So at the moment, the medical examiner will scrutinize every death. So they'll look at the paperwork, even if somebody's passed away from, let's say for argument's sake, someone has cancer, and they say, look, they've got 6 months or however, if they pass away, that paperwork will then go to that medical examiner, and until they sign it off, it's not going to be released. So that's one of the, it's not good for us, because obviously it adds another step in our way, and we're trying, I think the communities amongst us that Medina Masjid is dealing with, and now a few of the councillors, they're trying to get a situation where this medical examiner is available on the weekends, and at the moment he's not, or he or she, whoever they are. So that's one of the hurdles that the Muslims have got to deal with at the moment, and that's causing delays in some places. England more so, not as much here, but I'm sure they're going to try and push it a bit more. So from that point, once the medical examiner is signed off, you have the medical certificate, the next step would then be to register the death. At the moment, the deaths are registered in the same place where the births are registered, and that's in City Hall. That can be only signed off by the next of kin or this person who's nominated. Again, that person is responsible to make an appointment with the office at City Hall. Take the details with you. At that time, you'll need all the documents. Again, this I didn't mention, but if a person is terminally ill and they're about to die, this one person who's nominated should have all their paperwork ready. So passports, identities, birth certificates if they have it. All of these things should be ready, so you get to the City Hall and everything is there and they can sign it off. Once that's signed off and you've got the death certificate from City Hall, the next step then is to arrange the Janaza, and at the same time, whoever's dealing with your funeral, if it's a funeral director, they'll request those documents and then they'll contact Thornhill, and then they'll have a burial space for you. At the moment, we're using Western Cemetery. The spaces are there and they're allocated. At this time now, since maybe since COVID roughly, the burial spaces, there's already two spaces in the graveyard ready. So as soon as one's buried, there's another one. So two are there. And that shows how the increase in the deaths at the moment, and this is one of the reasons why we try and do these workshops so everyone's aware. So from that step, you have this paperwork, and then the death certificate, if signed off, if all the documents are correct, they'll sign them off and it's a very smooth process. But there have been cases where people have overlooked some of the documents or just done it in a rush. They've gone to register and they've been refused and told to go back. That's happened on some occasions 3 times. And obviously, if a next of kin is dealing with someone, a mother's passed away or any loved one's passed away, it's a very stressful moment to go back and forth. So this is why we identify someone who is responsible. I keep saying this to people because it never happens and it causes a lot of delays and a lot of stress for the people who are dealing with the death. So make sure the documents are correct, that the ones that you have to sign off this death. Once the death certificate's done, it'll go to the funeral director. They'll arrange the burial space. Again, there's another form to be signed. Those are signed again by the next of kin. They'll identify the person who actually owns the grave, because the person who's passed away, he doesn't own the grave. It'll be next of kin who's appointed. They'll be given those title deeds, etc. And then from there, then they arrange the Janaza with the local masjid. Again, liaising with the local masjids, with the imams, or whoever's the identified person in the masjid to deal with the death. From that point, obviously, the Janaza is done. Between that time, what we usually advise, we have the facilities, so why don't we use them? The masjids have, the majority of masjids around here, the local masjids, they have storage spaces. We advise people to try to avoid storing the bodies in the hospitals and have it in your own hands. The reason this is sometimes because once you've got it yourself, you're usually a lot quicker to do the janazas. We find delays in a few janazas that I've seen. There's delays for no reason, very, very, very silly reasons, such as sometimes they're waiting to buy a coffin which they say that colour is better, or sometimes they want fancy things in the janazas. And again, I advise everyone to take guidance from your imams, from your local ulama, and they'll advise you all of this stuff is useless. It doesn't mean anything. If anything, it just causes hassle and pain to the person who's passed away. But again, it's all emotional. Everyone comes under emotion in that time, and it delays so many things. There's sometimes they want a procession to be done for a janaza. Again, there's nothing in Islam to say that. Sometimes they're awaiting people coming from far and wide to attend the janaza. Again, I'd ask the ulama, there's nothing to say that there should be a delay. But in that time, the body will be stored within a freezer. It's not a place to be. The body should be returned to Allah. And we should try to be as quickly, do this as we're all going to come across this. We sometimes think that we're not going to deal with it. We're all going to deal with it. We're going to be the ones in that position one day. And whilst we're alive and whilst we're able to do these things, we should make these things as easy as possible, not just for our own family members, but for ourselves. One day this will be us. So as long as we educate the people that are around us, the youngsters that are coming up, my age and younger, if they know the processes and they know how quickly to get them done, inshallah, that 5-10 years down the line, they'll be a lot smoother than they are. Alhamdulillah, they're very good at the moment. So that's the side that we looked at in the process. If somebody is terminal, and if that process is very easy, and easy in the sense that everything's identified, the documents are ready, and they're going forward. Now, if you look at it in a different scenario, so if somebody has passed away, either a suspicious death, or there's something that they want to further investigate, so the process for that is slightly different. At that point, if a person has passed away, let's say for argument's sake at home, usually what will happen is the police will be involved. They'll come into the house. They'll identify, if it's obvious how the person died, they'll still go to the morgues. They'll control the body themselves. Most of the time, they won't allow it to go. From that point, if the doctor doesn't sign it off, if there's no medical history of that person having any illness, they're perfectly fine and they've passed away in that manner, then it will go to the coroner. So the coroner is essentially a kind of a judge, and they're the ones who will sign off in those cases. In those cases, sometimes if it's obvious to them and they're confident, again, they'll sign it off, but this is a longer process than if someone was to pass away at an expected death or terminally ill. But the process for that is a lot more complicated, but it still requires a next of kin. Again, the investigations will be done. The worst case scenario is if the coroner is not satisfied with a reason of death, they'll further investigate. This further investigation means a few things. There could be a criminal investigation, and then there's questioning of the family, etc. But that's aside. But the main thing that they might request is, as we're all aware, postmortems. Postmortems are the last resort for us, and then alhamdulillah, again, the coroners, most of the times when we've spoken to them, they've seen that it's a Muslim name, and the first thing that they say to you is, look, we know it's a Muslim and we're going to try to do it as quickly as possible, and we'll try to avoid a postmortem if possible. If let's say for argument's sake, it's not successful, they're not able to identify, they will request a postmortem. But there's three manners in how a postmortem is done. Postmortem, the one that we're all aware of is the invasive postmortem, which includes cutting a person open sometimes from the back of the head, sometimes the chest cavity is opened and they look at the organs and they identify how someone's passed away. The other two, there's one which is called it's like a toxic level test, which is just done from the blood in the body. So it's essentially like a blood test. They'll take that out, and then they'll do tests on there. And alhamdulillah, the majority of the ones that I've seen recently, they've been able to identify what the causes are, and they'll sign off from there, which is the best one for us. And then the third one is a tissue test, where they'll cut some tissue from somewhere on the body and they'll test this. Again, as Muslims, we try to avoid all of these. We should try and avoid any harm to the body in any manner, because the person is now dead. They're our mercy and Allah's mercy, and it's our duty to try and avoid these things. There's an option, which is a fourth option, which we try to educate people on. And again, this is only if the coroner accepts it. So if anyone comes across this situation, the first thing we advise is, if a coroner is involved, request that they allow for an MRI scan. So an MRI scan would be carried out. Again, it's not 100%. Sometimes it might not be 100% successful. And what they'll then do is they'll request a further investigation. But alhamdulillah, most of the time they've been okay. The closest facility at the moment is in Oxford. So if it's in Oxford, it's requested. It takes about 24 hours to approve. But I think, again, they only do them on a Wednesday and a Friday, I believe. I'll check these again. If someone needs information on it, let me know and I'll find out. But it costs about £600 for that MRI scan. But it's not invasive. It doesn't cut the body. It doesn't do anything. And the majority of the times, it's successful. But again, always remember, you have to request that from your coroner, and it's up to his discretion to say, yes, I'll accept it, and if it will be successful. In those circumstances, everything is okay from that point. Again, it will go to the final stage of where they'll give you the death certificate. But just remember that these timings, they're very different to when someone is terminal. We've had cases where the Janaza has been done the next day. Sometimes it's been approved for the evening. These ones, sometimes minimum, it'll take you about 4 days to 2 weeks sometimes. And obviously we try to avoid them as much as possible. From that point, again, we go to the Janazas. The Janazas are done in the masjids and then transported for dafn. The majority of them are Western Cemetery. There's been some cases where people have requested to be taken back home. Again, ask your ulama if they advise that. But yeah, those are the main kind of logistics and the paperwork that's required. In the sense, some people ask us, who deals with it, how is it transported? At the moment, there's Medina Masjid, which is probably everyone's aware that they're the ones that deal with it mainly. They have the use of a private ambulance and a hearse, so for transportation reasons. They also have storage facilities, but we advise using the closest masjid to you for storage. At the moment, the closest would be in Mackham Place, Masjid Bilal. Abu Bakr Masjid also has some storage. Try to use it as close to you as possible. This masjid doesn't have facilities at the moment, but the reason we do these programs is to try and raise awareness, arrange some volunteers if possible, and then inshallah in the future you guys can try to build on that and have it successful for the next 5-10 years and for the future for the youngsters. We try and advise everyone puts in as much effort and time into this. It'll only be useful to you and your family members and us as a whole, inshallah. Is there any questions about the logistics or paperwork or anything that wasn't clear? Everyone's listening. You want to go after that?
So basically, when a person passes away, my own experience is that if it's a terminal, and you know this person has been in the hospital and the doctors know, the best thing is when you realize that this person is passing, you speak to the doctors first. Say, this is my so-and-so, father, brother, next of kin, one person be in charge. And he tells them the moment he or she passes away, you have to give me cause of death certificate. You have to. So if you tell them to speak to them from before, they will help you. And there have been cases where a person himself, when they realize, and in Cardiff it has happened, when they realize they only got a bit of time, they've called their own GP themselves and said to them that when I pass away, make sure you bury me, you don't cause any problems for my children. So there has been cases like that too. So family members have to push this in a nice way. So we spoken years ago, and we spoken to the Jews, Yehudi community, and we asked them, how do you get your body released? Basically, they say we keep on nagging them, and we say we're not going to leave the ward until you release our body. So they're ashamed. So we have to be like that too. So it's all right. In a nice way, see, we can't leave the ward until you give us a certificate. And because the doctors on call, they have to do it. They're scared to do it. They'll say, oh, the next one will do it. They're trying to get out of it. So don't let them get out and get it signed by him. And they will do it, they'll help you, inshallah. I'll tell you this for the religious needs, yeah? Pass away. Remember, don't make the announcement when the Janaza will be done until you have all the legal requirements. So sometimes we make an announcement, tomorrow 11 o'clock, you don't need ID? I don't need. Yeah. So if we make an announcement and we say tomorrow is the Janaza after Zohr, and it doesn't happen, it's not right. So don't make an announcement until you have all the legal requirements, all the paperwork ready. You have a slot in the Qabristan, in the graveyard, cemetery and everything. Then make the announcement, the Janaza will be done so time. Yeah? But before the Janaza now, you found out that you're ready for the Janaza. Now first thing you need to do is to give Ghusl to the MASIID. Ghusl is proven from Ijma'i Ummah, alright? Adam alayhi salatu wasalam was given Ghusl by who? The angels. And the angels taught the sons and children that this is how you give Ghusl. From that time to this time, Ghusl is your farz and wajib to give to the MASIID. Yeah? How do we give the Ghusl to the MASIID? That's the next step. Can I have a volunteer, please? I couldn't get my dummy. I don't want. Can I have another volunteer, not Bilal? No one's the guy. No. These boys done all this girl is ready now to kill them now. Yeah, they know. So we bring the MASIID from where? From the, hopefully inshallah he will be in the masjid, from the freezer. Yeah? We bring him out. In the same masjid we give him the ghusl. He or she now, at the moment, alright, the feet are tied together. Yeah, the toes are tied, we tied them in when he died. Yeah? We tied his chin, yeah? And we kept his hands like that. Yeah, he or she. Yeah? That's what we done. Now he's got his clothes on. Now to remove these clothes, we can't remove them in a normal manner. We have to cut them. We cut his clothes, alright? We get another sheet, we put it on his forearms. So from his knee, from his belly button to his knee, that has to be on covered. Yeah? Understand? So for instance, this is the cloth I got in it. So I covered him like that, or her. Alright? So the forearms are covered, all the clothes are off. Yeah? Now I have to be ready to give the ghusl. When we give the ghusl, how many people are needed for a normal size body? So this size body, how many people do you need? People try to say, in COVID especially, so you need about 6 people. Why? Because you're using your hands in everything. So you need 6 people to help you wash the body, at least. So try your best to have about 6 people. 1 person is not enough. 2 is not enough either. At least 6 is enough. Yeah? Take his glasses off, and remember, I forgot one thing. You know when the person passes away, when you realize he passed away, first you close his eyes, you tie his chin from below on his head over here. You tie his toes together, put your hands on the sides, And before you tie his chin, if he or she has dentures, you take them out. Alright? Take the dentures out, take the false teeth and everything out. Alright? If you could easily. Take them out gently. And then tie his mouth. Yeah? This done. Now, ghusl time, we cut everything off. How do we go ghusl? Number one, what kind of temperature of water do we use? So a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam are saying that indicated the body feel things. So if we use freezing water, is that right? No. Hot boiling water, that's not even right too. So just use the right temperature water. Yeah, medium. Not too hot, not too cold. Now, the first thing you need to do, now you need to know who will give the ghusl. So who is best to give the ghusl? The local imam? Or someone who's professional, or the funeral director? No. For Qahad, Dr. Mukhtar writes the people who have to give the ghusl is, the best people is the close family. The close family give ghusl to, like Hazrat Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. These people give ghusl to who was Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Everything was on Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the close family gave ghusl to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So this is a teaching for us that we, the close family, takes the money. We won't give the money to anyone. But when it comes to the ghusl and everything, we say, no, someone else gives the ghusl. No, we as close family will give the ghusl to the mayyit. So we need to know how to do the ghusl. So we took the clothes off. First thing is, we get normally the hose pipe in shower. Yeah. So we get the shower. The closest to the mayyit, the elder son, he does the istinja for the mayyit. Yeah. Istinja, wash the private parts. All right. Slowly. Then, if the person has passed in janabat, ghusl as far as on them either because of hairs or haiza, or did they have a chance to do ghusl after and something else after they come in? Yeah, so then you have to wash the mouth somehow and then take the water out. Wash the nose properly, somehow take the water out. Otherwise, what you do, alright, if it's a normal scenario, you get some cotton wool. Alright, let me get some cotton wool. Yeah? Yeah? Let me get a tissue. There's a clean tissue. You get cotton wool, alright? You dab in water and you clean the mouth. Whatever you could do easily, alright? If the teeth are apparent, you clean the teeth. Yeah? Then you get some water and you clean the nose. Yeah? Then you wash the face. Understand? Then you wash the right hand, including the elbows, 3 times. Wash the left hand 3 times. Yeah? Then you do a massage on his head or her head. Then you wash the right foot, then the left foot. Is that clear? So you do a istinja and wudu. Wash the private parts, making sure nothing is covered. And the person who washes, make sure they wear gloves. Alright? You washed all that, you done the wudu. Now, first thing you do is, before you start the rest of the ghusl, you wash the head, yeah, with soap, shampoo, and you can, if you have sidr, you wash them with berry or sidr, you wash them with that. When you wash that properly, then you wash the beard, yeah? You wash the beard nice and thoroughly. Then what you do is at least there were 3 of you, then you start washing the right part first. How do you do that? This is how you do it. So you put the body, let's move on. Yes. You hold the body like that. So you have one person holding it there and you have another person holding. So you wash the right side first. Where's the right side? That's the right side. Yeah. Yes, yes. So I got the body, you can see, alright, and someone's holding there, here. It won't stay itself like that. So you wash you put water on it, yeah? Then you put shampoo or sidr, whatever soap you have, or shower gel. And you wipe it properly, yeah? And then you take that off the 3rd time, yeah? Make sure the water reaches right here and that side too. That's the right done. Then gently put it down. Don't go like that, yeah? Gently and then you put it up left. Yeah? And you wash this. So water, soap, shampoo, shower gel, or scissors, whatever you have. Understand? All that wash. Yeah? Then you flatten the body. Before you start giving ghusl to the whole body, make sure you put some cotton wool in the nose, in the ears, and in the mouth. Because when you're going to pour water, you don't want the water going inside his nose or mouth or what you call it, ears. That's done? Yeah? Now, the whole body is washed. Now what you do, you sit him down. Yeah? Hold him like that. Alright, a bit. Yeah, that's good exercise for you. So, you rub the stomach nice and gently. Yeah? You rub the stomach nice and gently. If anything comes out, alright, you just do the istinja, just wash it. You don't have to go through all the ghusl again. Understand? You want me to go through this process again one more time?
If somebody is in Janaza, how can we wash them mouth?
Whatever you can do, study, whatever water you can put in the mouth in it, try to make sure the whole mouth is washed and the water is going to his soft part, right to the hard
Can do
part.
that with
You can do that with, that will give water, but you might need to use a shower thing. And then you have to take that water out. That's the hard process. You have to dry out
the water into it and then dry with
a cotton wool or tissue paper or towel. Yeah, that's right. So first thing you do, you take the clothes off. Alright? The second thing you do, you put something on the center. You're not allowed to see this part right from the belly button to the what knees. You're not allowed. This is haram. Hayyan wa mayyitan. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam says. Alright? Then you do the istinja. Yeah? No, before you do, then you do the istinja. Then you do the wudu. So the mouth, nose, alright? Then you, before you wash the face, you put some cotton wool in his nose, in the mouth, in the what? Ears. And then you wash the face. Then you do the hands, right, left, three times. Yeah? Then the masha, yeah? Then the feet. Then you wash the head, yeah? Then you wash the beard, alright? Then you wash the right side. You put the right side down and wash that. You make sure the water goes right to the left, and then you put the left, alright? Wash it, plain water with soapy water, then plain water. Make sure that is left on it. Then you dry the body. You have to dry the body at the end. Then is mustahab sunnah to put some kafur on the sajda places. So where do we do? Forehead, nose, knees, hands and feet. Put some kafur on if you have any. If you don't use, you can use normal itar, good itar. Don't use the cheap and nasty one. You spend some money on them, alright? They deserve it. Yeah? Now the time of kafan has come. The kafan is not here.
I've got a question. There's some ghusls we go to, people say we try to cut the nails, trim the moustache, the beard, and then some people are cleaning under the nails with a toothpick.
Yeah. So cleaning is okay, but going through under the nails and everything, they can't do that. Yeah, because it's hurting the body now. And cutting the nails, that's not allowed either. Trimming the beard or shaving the beard, that's haram now. Everything's gone haram now. So they can't cut the hair. They can't say, oh, let's make him, not preserve him a bit. So he looks nice or she looks nice. They're not allowed, that's not allowed. So all these things have gone haram now. If anyone is passing away, you realize he's passing away, do all the shaving on that according to Shariat from before. When you realize he's passing away, you can do it at that time. Clean the mustache, trim the mustache and everything. And if the beard is more than 1 fist, then fix that. Otherwise, whatever is according to Shariat, you can do that. But after that, you can't clean the armpits, you can't clean anything after that is not allowed. No makeup is not allowed either. I don't know why they do the makeup. Yeah?
Some people they take photograph out.
These are not allowed. The sphere is haram anyway, so there's no point of taking the procedure. I don't know why they do it. They want to show it to the people. Why do they want to show it to the people back home or here?
कफन के ऊपर अतर लगाते हैं.
हो जाए. Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, I have got the coffin. How far?
The other question is that sometimes people, when they wash the body, they go out and they discuss with people and say, oh, his body was so nice, or he looked so bad, or he had this, he had that.
So, given ghusl, there's a lot of sawab to it. Some hadith indicated that people who give ghusl to a mayyit, their major sins are forgiven too. So it's a ni'mat to give ghusl to someone. And if someone wants to charge for it, they can charge, but they don't have any sawab for it. Yeah? But when we give ghusl to someone, it's the amanat by us, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when you give ghusl to the mayyit, you have to keep all that secret. Whatever happens, anything could be happening. So people can die, alright, and they can have blood coming out of their wounds, alright. They could be smelly. They can have any kind of illness. You can see something normally you don't see. You don't say that outside. This is the aman is not allowed, and it can happen to us. Yeah. So this is the sunnah way of So everything is amanat. So a person could die, or if he was in a hospital or she was in a hospital, Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. Alright. Yeah. So a person will die and he was in a hospital and he's got holes in his body. They can have holes in his body. And when they come out from the hospital, they have patches over here and there. So if you remove them totally, alright, the blood they start bleeding or pus coming out of the water. So what you do is you wash that part and quickly put another patch there. Yeah? Or whatever it is. Yeah, over here, anywhere. So this can happen too. So you have to be prepared for everything. Now, this is the sunnah way of giving the ghusl. But you found out that someone has died and you are alone or no one's ready to give ghusl to anyone. So this has happened in COVID. In COVID this has happened, that the people have passed away, no one wants to give ghusl, not in the family member, they're scared that the illness will come to them. Yeah, I don't believe in that because there's a lot of dua for Islam. But anyway, I'll go according to what people think. So if a person has passed away, and could we, number one, first question is, could we bury that person without ghusl? So I said in the beginning, giving ghusl to a mayyit is a farz. Now he's dead or she's dead. Whose responsibility is ours. First is the close family, otherwise the neighborhood. So someone passed away from my family and the responsibility is the closest person, alright, the wali next of kin, alright, his responsibility is to make sure that person gets a ghusl, kafan, tadfeen and everything. That's his janaza, his responsibility or her responsibility. So we have to, it's for us to give the ghusl. Now the problem is, either the law does not allow, the land of the law does not allow you to go too many people to give ghusl, or no one's ready to go to give ghusl, they're scared. So what do you do in that situation? You can make sure, all you need to do is make sure the whole body is washed. So for instance, I'm alone, this person has passed away, yeah? Now I got this person, I've got him on the washing bed, somehow I got him on there. Now I have to give him the ghusl, I'm alone, so I get a shower and wash whatever I can do easily. Yeah? As long as I wash all the entire body, the farz is done.
From up and down.
Up and down. So you have to make sure all the body is washed.
Just one.
Yeah. So you can move it. You can move it, but you are alone. You can't be able to move it like you should be moving it. And you know, Ustad, you have washed body. It's hard to move. It's hard to move body even when you're 6, 7 of you. You know, because you're just using your hands. It's very hard. You'd be amazed. You know, even young kids when they pass away, they're so heavy you can't even move them. Yeah. So if it's one person, you just make sure you wash all the body up and down, everything. That's wash. Your farz is done. You don't need the whole team. You don't need the Molisab to come and show you how to do the ghusl. You should have learned that from before. Or if you know how to do it, for instance, I know how to do it, alhamdulillah, but I'm alone, or is it only 2 of us, or 3 of us, and there's a body, 20 stone body. That happened. A person has passed away, he was 20 stone. So they phoned me, they said, we don't want to bury him, we don't want to give him ghusl because he died of COVID. So Shahidi Hukmi, I say he's not Shahidi Hukmi. If he is, even for Shahidi Hukmi, the masala is that you have to give them ghusl. Shahidi Hakiki, you don't have to give ghusl. So first I have to explain the difference between Shahidi Hukmi and Hakiki, but I managed to explain to them and said that the masala is that even if you take this person who passed away in COVID, he's a Shahidi Hukmi, you still have to give him a ghusl. They said, he's 20 stones, how do we give him ghusl? There's only one of me, no, the family member does not want to come ahead. So I taught them, I said, just get a shower and just wash all the body, entire body, dry, and alhamdulillah, your fard ghusl will be done.
Sir, the ghusl that on wudu भी जरूरी है.
Sure. The person who give ghusl, yeah, that's a good question. So a person who give ghusl, does he have to be in wudu? Is best. It's not necessary. Yeah? When he gives ghusl or the party gives ghusl, is it farz for them to do ghusl? No, it's not farz, but it's mustahab. And experience is whenever you give ghusl to a mayyit, you smell a bit. So you want to have a ghusl. But if you don't have time, then you can carry on. It's not farz. You don't get any no police unless any filth comes on you. Just have to wash that part of the body. Yeah. So the main thing is you have to say whoever dies, you cover everything secret. Alright? Everything amanat by you, and make sure you think good. Anything can happen. Someone complete. It doesn't mean that person is a bad person. Yeah, anything can happen. Yeah.
There's like for the man or woman, there's 3 pieces of cloth.
Yeah, I'm coming to the coffin. That's the coffin. Yeah, that's the coffin. Is not here yet.
Oh no, he has a
Yeah. So the coffin, alright. Now a person has died. This person is alright 6 foot. So do you cut the coffin 6 foot? What will you do? I'm dead. I'm 5'3", I think.
Will be 7.5.
5'7"? G? No, not 6 foot. I'm 5'7", I think. I don't even know my own height.
6 feet, it should be 7.5 feet coffin. The 6 feet person.
7.5 foot.
2 feet extra. Yeah.
Anyone? Will you do according to foot? Come on, boys. No one's got the answer? No, you don't. You come and measure the body. So I'm dead, you measure me. Because when I die, alright, my feet, even though you tie my feet, I'll go down like that. Yeah? So I'm gone about 1 foot taller. Yeah? My body will get longer. Understand? So you have to measure me. You come, you measure me from my head, from there, right to my feet to there. The body gets longer in the understand? Yeah? So you measure the body. Now for a man, it's 3 kinds of kafan. Kafan-e-kifaya, Kafan-e-zarura, and Kafan-e-sunnat. Kafan-e-zarura is that there's nothing, you got no clothes at all. Yeah? And you got no fabric. This can happen. And this has happened at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muslim ibn Umayyah radiallahu ta'ala died, and when they had one piece of fabric, when they used to cover his head, his feet used to come out. When they used to cover his feet, his head used to come out. They didn't have enough fabric to cover his body. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, put iskir on his feet and cover his head, and they buried him like that. So what happens? Kafan-e-zarura is whatever is muyassar, whatever you have, just bury them in there. Yeah? That's if you don't have the sunnah kafan. Yeah? Kafan-e-kifaya is 2 cloth. Izar and one lifafa. Kafan-e-sunnat is that you have a lifafa, izar, qamis. Lifafa, izar, qamis. Then the names. Lifafa, so you buried you measured the person who died. So the lifafa has to be a bit longer than the person, both sides. So you can wrap it up and tie it up here. Yeah? And you can wrap it up and tie it up. So if you want to put them, when you're putting the mayyits inside the grave, alright, in the cupboard, 1 person or 2 people have picked them up from here, 1 from there, and 2 from here. Yeah? So the lifafa has to be longer. Yeah? And the izar has to be exact exactly the same side of the body, and the qameez has to be from the shoulders to the what? Feet. Yeah? So how do we place the mayyit? We got the thing. What's this? Have you got 3 of them or? Let's see what we got. Yeah. So this is the izar, alright? We measured the body and we made it longer than the body, about 1 foot. Yeah? So this is the lifafa. Put it on like that. Then you put the izar on. Yeah, izar. So the izar has to be exactly the same size of the mayyit. Yeah? Now the qameez, how do you do the qameez? Yeah, this is okay. So this is the qameez, alright? So you double it like that. Then you make a cut over here. Then make another cut over here. So you cut it there, okay? And you make another one there. And you cut it there. Look, yeah? So you put it there. You gather all this. Yeah? You bring the mayyit, alright? So you pick up the mayyit, alright? The mayyit, alright, you brought the mayyit on here and you put the qameez like that. Now the problem is, alright, it might not go through his head, so you cut him out like that. Yeah? You go like that. Then, you put this qameez on top of all this stuff. Yeah? And put the right. This is the right, you know, the width of this is very nice. This is the right width. Sometimes you have to look, when you buy a coffin, 1.5 meters. So it's about 2 yards it is. Yeah. 2.5 yards or something like that. At least you can go around the body.
That's 72 inches, that's right.
So, alright. Then you put the left from the izar first. Yeah? Then the right. Cover his head, Sheikh. Then the last point is this. Yeah? And the right hand is up. Then, now, you need to tie it's best to tie it. So you cut something from the, what you call it, kafan. You make a knot here, knot there, knot there, and then you tie these together, yeah? Tie down, okay, that's done. Now the mayyit is ready. Now, if you have any kafur or good attar, the make sure it doesn't leave, it's not haram, but it's best to make sure it doesn't leave any stain to put on the body, yeah? On the thing, yeah? Now he's ready for janaza. Now the janaza, before the janaza, do we have to show the mayyit face? It's not necessary, it's mubah. It's best you don't show it, just leave it like that. Because once everything ready, the halat can be of the barzakh halat can start. So it's best not to show, but if you want to show, you could, alright? Understand? Now, you go on the coffin, this is the main coffin, yeah? The next step is, let's go to the Imam Sahib and ask him to do a janaza. Imam will come and stand on his what? Chest over here, seen over here, and do janaza. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Who has the right to do the Imam? The Imam first right is, alright, in this country now, in our situation, is the local Imam has the right first. So for instance, our local Imam is the way the janaza is done, either is done in the Bania or is done in what MASIID Bilal, or either is done in what? In Abu Bakr or Jalaliya. So whatever our local Imam is, he has the first right. If someone from the next of kin wants to do the janaza, he could, it's best, but he should take permission from the Imam. If the Imam grants him permission, then he can lead the Janaza. So I'm an Imam myself, but when my father passed away, I'm the Imam of this Masjid, I'm not the Imam of Masjid Bilal. I wanted to do my father's Janaza because he wanted me to do the Janaza. I asked permission from the Imam sir, and they said, yes, you can lead the Janaza. So you have to ask, these are rule regulation, these are the Islamic etiquettes Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has taught us. So ask the Imam, and if they give us permission, then we can lead the Janaza. Janaza is done, quick as possible now, we have to take them to the qabr. Now qabr, so we done the Janaza, now we take down, the Janaza has to be done quick as possible. How quick should it be done? It should be done, the Janaza, as soon as the grave is ready and the Ghusl is done, that much time you need. So if you go back home, alright, the ulama, alright, when they die, they get buried in 3 hours, 4 hours. That's how it takes normally time. You know, the grave, they send a group of brothers, they dig the grave. Alright, that takes about 1.5 hours to get ready. And when that is ready, in the meantime, they give the Ghusl. They made the announcement of Janaza. In 2-3 hours, the person is buried. This is how it should be a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was buried after 3 days, no doubt in that. But there was another problem there. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has buried Sahabas quick as possible. Yeah, this is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I don't want to go in an argument, but this is the way it should be, very quick as possible. Sending them back home, like Hafiz Yasser said, there's a procedure when you want to send them back home. They still do the embalmment or not?
They do to a certain degree.
Yeah. So they basically put all chemical in your body, they take all your organs out, they put it in a bag, and then they rip your stomach and all that. They do something, they have to go through a procedure. Then it takes another 2-3 days to take you to Jannatul Baqi. When you get, and then over there it takes another 2-3 days. So that basically your Janaza and everything is delayed for another, at least about 4 or 5 days, which is not allowed in Sharia Mutahara. And taking the Mayyit more than 2 miles if it's not necessary is not allowed either. So not 2 to 3 miles. So that shouldn't be done. And Alhamdulillah, it's fading away now. Alhamdulillah, no one's taking them back to Jannatul Baqiyya. So yeah, right? Jannatul Baqiyya or Jannatul, whatever. Yeah. So that's one thing. Now Janaza is done, we take them to Qabristan. Now Janaza, whenever people they are available quick as possible, they participate. After Janaza, there's no dua. The dua is what Janaza is stuff. Yeah? Subhanallahumma salah or Surah Al-Fatiha, then after that, what you call it, salutation of Rasulullah, then dua of Hayyina. That's done, dua, Janaza is done. After that, right, no dua after that. Take them to the Qabristan. When you take them to the Qabristan, now you got 3 choices of cover. Shrouded cover, coffin cover, and the other one, what is it called? Fiberglass. I don't know what's that called. It's a fiberglass one. The fiberglass is what they do. They make some kind of glass, a fiber, and a box kind of thing, and they put a coffin inside that too, is it? They put another coffin inside that. So they have to cut that out somehow and dig it separately.
Yeah, it's a bigger
grave. So you have a mansion inside. Yeah? I haven't finished yet. So bigger grave, alright, and they put fiberglass around it, they put a coffin in it and they cover it up. The second thing is the same kind of thing, but they put you with a coffin. The third way, the third option what we have is, before I go through the options, let me tell you, when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Al-lahdu lana wa shaqqu li ghayrina. So there's 2 types of what? Graves, lahad and shaq. Lahad is that you dig down, on the side you make a kind of what you call a cupboard, and you slide the body like over here, you dig down and you make this place for the body, and you put the body in there, and you cover it slightly or something, yeah? And then you throw the ground, the earth down so it doesn't touch the body at all. This is called lahad, but you can't make that in every country, especially over here. The third way is that you dig down, and you make a platform on one side, and a platform on another side. In the middle you make a kind of a hole kind of thing, for the body enough. This is called shock. This is called what? Shock. And we have got permission in this country for that. So, and without any coffin or casket, you can bury like that. Now, what happened in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, the Sahabas had one difference. They said, we should bury Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the shaq cover. Some said we should bury him in the lahad. So they said there's two people who knows how to dig these graves. Abu Ubaidah radiallahu ta'ala knew how to dig a shaq grave. And Abu Talha radiallahu ta'ala knew how to dig a lahad. So they said whoever comes first. And Hazrat Abbas said, I was making dua, Ya Allah, give my nephew the best grave. And who came first? Abu Talha came first. So they did a lahad for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah? So that can't be happening over here. But we have the opportunity of shah. This is the closest to the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The only thing that goes with us is our amal. You know, in qata amalu, everything finishes. Yeah? Our family will come back too. They'll cry for a while, they'll come back. Our wealth will come back too. Alright, our friends and everyone will come back too. And everything will come back. The only thing will stay with us is our amal. If our amal is good, no matter however we make the grave alright, the grave is Rawzatun min Riyadil Jannah, is a garden for us. If our amal is not good alright, even if you do the ceiling type they're doing now in Pakistan, they do a ceiling inside the grave. That will never help you too. It'll come hufratun min hufrin nar, a place of Jahannam for you. So, I tell everyone, I can't say at the time when a person passes away, but I say now, that anyone or any person dies, make sure you do a shrouded cover, shrouded grave. Closest to sunnah we can do over here. I will improve, we're going to try to improve more inshallah ta'ala. We have two graves ready, bury them as quick as possible. One day buried in a shrouded grave, alright, they're covered. At the moment we have got commission for wood on it. We're trying to improve that with concrete inshallah. Yeah, like they do in other places. Then, منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. Yeah. Some soil in your hands, منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. Then you cover the grave. When all is covered, is ready, you make it like a hump. Yeah? Whatever soil you have. Yeah? After that, it's mustahab, it's not necessary either. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala asad, he says that you read Alif Lam Mim Dhalik al-Kitab on one side, on the other side you read what? Amana Rasul bima unzila ilayhi min rabbihi wal mu'minun. Yeah, this is a mustahab, appreciate, it's not necessary after that. Then we have, it's sunnah to make dua for the mayyit. The dua should be that Ya Allah, keep the mayyit steadfast on the question he's going to be answered. The question he's going to answer now. So he's going to be, the angels come, usually Sani, they sit him down. They will sit us down. And they will say, Man Rabbuka, Man Nabiyuka, Ma Dinuka. These questions we ask. Now how much space is that's a barzakh halat. You don't have to go in that detail. Yeah? So we need to make dua, alright, Ya Allah, keep him steadfast in these questions. He may answer them properly. So the dua sometimes we say forgive him and all that. No, make dua, Ya Allah, keep him steadfast in this situation he is in now. That should be done. Yeah? So the family members should stay there until for about at least 20 minutes, stand there, make dua. Stand there for about 20 minutes. Because Hazrat Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu ta'ala I think so. His family were around him when he was on his deathbed. He said to his family, when I pass away, stay by my grave at least for the limit of time of duration of time when a camel gets slaughtered and his meat are divided. So they were very quick in slaughtering a camel, dividing the meat. They used to, eat big meats in the lumps. Yeah? So ulama says that's about 20 minutes. Stay there by the grave, the family members, and ask dua, Ya Allah, keep them steadfast, keep us steadfast, make it. Do as quick as possible. Don't say, I want my father and my mother to go in peace, in a nice way, so people can see I've given the best service. That's what, isn't it? It's not show off. So if I'm dead, all right, and my son says I want to give the best service for my father and show people that I'm faithful to my father, I'm loyal to my father, and he orders a limousine or whatever, Rolls Royce and Cardiff and all that, that's not going to help him. That's show off. Give that money in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do ihsan islam for the mayyit. Do as much as ihsan islam for the mayyit. Anyone of us die, we need your du'as, ihsan islam. That's what we need.
No question.
Yeah.
एक तलकीन के बारे में.
Yeah, वो तलकीन जो है ना, वो हर आदमी नहीं जानते, तो yeah.
और दूसरी बात वो ये जो शो करते हैं, फेस दिखाते हैं, वो जनाजे से पहले दिखाने देने के बाद
एक में भी नहीं दिखाना चाहिए.
हाँ?
एक में भी नहीं दिखाना चाहिए.
अच्छा.
जनाजे के बाद तो बरज़ख के हालात तारी हो जाते होंगे.
हाँ जी.
तो हो सकते हैं कि बरज़ख के हालात तारी होने की वजह से उनके फीचर्स तब्दील, शक्ल तब्दील हो जाए, तो डरोनी शक्ल बन जाए, तो फिर जो है खतरनाक है. तो उलमा ने लिखे कि बेहतर ये कि जनाजे के बाद तो अगर दिखाना चाहते तो जनाजे से पहले दिखाए. So that's all. Everyone should know how to do janaza. Any questions?
इधर जो जिस तरह आदमी फोट हो जाता है, उसकी फैमिली पाकिस्तान में है, तो अगर वीडियो कॉल के जरिए या ये अलाउ
लाइव तो दिखा सकते, लाइव दिखाने में कोई हर्ज नहीं, लेकिन फोटो नहीं दिखा.
फोटो नहीं दिखा सकते.
फोटो ना दिखाए. लाइव तो किसी हद तक जो है और आई लेकिन फोटो बेहतर ये कि फोटो अच्छी बात है. Yeah.
How high can the cupboards not be?
The cupboard, that's another question. You know what the new rule is coming now? When we Hafizab knows and you guys know that whoever's you lease the grave you do. So the lease up to now is 99 years. So whatever grave you buy now for that 9 years. Now the government, the council is saying that we want to reuse the graveyard. So they have given us 3 options. Now we're working on that, inshallah ta'ala. We're trying to get our own private graveyard. But they got another option that you can make a platform on top of the mayyit. You bury another person. Yeah? So it should be half of the size of the body. About 4 foot? At least 4 foot. The depth of the cupboard should be 4 foot. The other thing is, when you put the body inside the grave, what do? You just face to the Qibla or the whole body? Question. You put me in the grave, alright? What do? You face my whole body towards the Qibla. The whole body. So the whole, for instance, this is the Qibla. Don't just put my face like that. Put my whole body. Put something. You might need to put something, some mud or something. Keep me there and face my whole body to the Qibla. And the knots you tied on my hair, here and there, if you open them, that's better. Did you open your face? No. So that's another mistake we do. We try to open the face, they want to see the grave. They see the grave anyway. Yeah? Yeah, so you don't open the face. Understand? So that's the mistakes. We do a lot of mistakes. And in the graveyard, everyone is the boss. No. The people who are doing it, let them do it. Make one person a boss. For instance, if it's the elder alim there, let him sort everything out of respect. The problem I've seen in the grave, everyone thinks, no, do this. Everyone's pushing. No. One person, he says, start from here, do this and all that. If you leave one person to organize everything, it'll be easy. Same with like Hafiz Yasser said, next of kin. So if a person dies in my family, they should appoint someone as the next of kin that the funeral director speaks to him too. He's the one that goes to Thornhill. If it's not online, it's not an email on online yet. So things are changing, but normally what you have to do is get the letter from the doctors, take that to the registrar. From there, when they give you the death certificate, then you take that to Thornhill, and the Thornhill will give you a green slip. Yeah, and the green slip is for what? The grave. So when you get that green slip and you get the slot for the grave, then you make the announcement, कि तारिक मर गया फलां फलां जनाजा जो है ना जोर के बाद है मस्जिद मिलान में. Yeah? I'm still alive yet. Never know. Yeah? So you make this announcement. Then you make the announcement when you get that thing. Don't make the announcement before that because that causes a lot of delay. The other thing is, Janaza is farz kifaya. And in Janaza we do what? Dua. What about ta'ziyat? Condolence. Yani dua ke liye baithna. What's the reality? What should we do about that? I got 5-10 minutes. So ta'ziyat is alright. What Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has done is that ta'ziyat is comforting another person. So when I die, you go to my family and say, oh, we're so sorry for your loss, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you. We're sorry for you. If you need any of my help in future, I'll be there. And your father was a very great man, inshallah. Hopefully you'll be in Jannah. Hopefully I will be. Yeah? So that's what you do. This is condolence. We go, we say, dua karo, upar karo, niche karo, upar karo, dua. This is not. Yeah, if you want, dua is sunnah. I'm not saying dua is, I'm not against the dua. I'm saying dua, do the dua, read something in the dua. Allahumma filli hayyina, Rabbana fillana. Allahumma filli walhamni. Make dua. Make dua for yourself and the mayyit too. And also comfort that person, the family. And one person makes the dua, you don't all have to go, pir dua karo, pir dua karo. This is, a game with the dua. Don't make fun from dua. That's one thing. The other thing is, we should limit the time of dua. So normally we are going to sit down for 3 days for ta'ziyat. And from Fajr Salat to Isha Salat. And if it's in summer, that's about 20 hours. Yeah? So that's a burden on the family too. Yeah? So the family themselves, they should say, we're going to sit from Zohr to Asr, for instance. And whoever can make it, very good. Whoever does not make it, we're not going to complain. We're not going to do any shikayat. Limit the time. Limit the time for the sisters and the brothers. And limit the time, days too. 2 days, 3 days, if 2 days. 1 day, 2 days. Limit it. And this condolence should be just done for the people who die in this country. The people who died back in India, Pakistan and Bangladesh, no condolence, no dua should be done for them. The ijtimai dua should be done. That's it. No condolence should be sit down there for this. Yeah? The other thing, which is sunnah, which is mustahab. Hazrat Jabir radiallahu ta'ala passed, got shaheed in Ghazwa Mu'tah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was told, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam called his sons, Abdullah ibn Jafar, and comfort them. Then went home and said to his family, make food for the family of the Jafar. They are in what? Grief. So making food from the family is sending it without any return, without any burden. For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is mustahab to help the family. But sometimes what happens is too much food is sent to the family. So I send food, you send food, you send food in one day, and then they do not know what to do with it. So the best thing is, you can phone them and say, we want to send food. Should we send food or you got enough food? And they be honest, you be honest. They'll say, yes, we got enough food or we need food, send the food. That's the way to not waste food.
Or they can say, bring tomorrow.
They can say, bring tomorrow, yeah, bring tomorrow. Give them food for another 6-7 days. It help them, inshallah, help the family. And they send the raw food, a kilo of rice and a kg of, of meat and all that. That's not needed. The main thing is to help them on their cooked food there. So whatever you can do is not necessary. Without any return, without any burden. Otherwise, if you do it on burden, I'm dead and you send food, and when someone dies from your family, you want me to send food, that could be riba, that could be interest too. So be careful. Everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these things help them. And remember, in these kind of situations, the family has to be strong. Next of kin has to be strong. He has to take care of everything. I'll give you an example. When Rasulullah passed away, this is the biggest tragedy on the Sahabas, isn't it? All of them got out of control. Even Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala got out of control. He had a sword in his hand. Behave. Every one of you, we say Rasulullah passed away. But because Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala was the Khalifa, he was next of kin in charge. He came and he entered the house. He came and he took a kiss from the forehead of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said Rasulullah has passed away. He made the announcement and he made a khutbah, wa ma Muhammadun illa Rasul. So the next of kin has to put itself strong and make sure everything is done according to Shariat al-Mutahara, quick as possible. That's what you have to do. So whoever is the elder son, or sometimes the elder son is not quick, the second, third, whoever is quick enough and knows how to do things, they should take care of everything. That's all, is it? Yeah? Yeah, Sheikh will show Hafiz will show the paperwork.
Sorry, the paperwork is a little bit late, but I'll go through some stuff. This is an example of a death certificate. This is what you get from City Hall once it's registered, but this is after the cause of death and medical certificates issued. So it has the same details as the birth certificate, name, details of next of kin, cause of death, gender, etc., and place of death. So this is a certificate that
Can you get that from the hospital?
The medical certificate is from the hospital of the GP. Coroner releases it. This is from City Hall at the moment, from here. So this is.
The registrar doesn't sit in his hospital anymore.
No, registrar is in.
He doesn't sit there anymore.
Yeah, so you book an appointment with the City Hall. The earliest appointments they have early morning, 8, 9 o'clock. You try and book in and go.
But how is if a person passed in Nandok, that's in Panate, you have to go Panate?
Barry.
You have to go Bari. So if anyone passes away in Nandok or in that area, then you have to go to Bari to register office.
Yeah, so that one you liaise with Medina Masjid, whoever you liaise, and then they'll tell you where it is. But if it's Landok, which sounds right, that's in Bari. The ones here, they're all. But you'll get the same certificate. This will be the same format.
What about the death certificate?
Death certificate. This is the death certificate.
You have to register that.
So this is when you register with the registrar.
The doctors give you cause of death.
Doctor is cause of death.
Huh?
Cause of death or medical certificate. So that just shows.
That's a medical certificate.
So they'll just confirm the death to say that.
But you have to push the doctor to give you the medical certificate, otherwise nothing can happen.
Yeah.
So you have to have good contacts with the doctors and be nice with the doctors.
So that's one point. After that point, this is the interment form. This gives the details of, again, the person's death, where they're going to be buried, the details of the grave. Some points in here are filled, some are ignored, but like again, people will run through that. And then from that point, once that's completed, we'll have one of these. So this is the green form that Mufti Tariq Sahib was on about. This was then given to Thornhill of the graveyards, and it identifies who's being buried, where they're being buried, and then after that it goes.
Where's the one you put one? Where do we get this one?
This one at the moment, so if you're dealing, most people are dealing with Medina Masjid, or the funeral directors, they'll give this to you.
That's only Medina was.
At the moment, if there's any other funeral
Yeah,
directors,
we got few funerals, like we got Salam
Salam funeral.
and White Rose, and we got Medina Masjid.
Uthman, you don't have that?
Yeah.
He's it's all the same.
I'm independent, Sheikh, but yes.
Yeah. So we can get it for you, anyone you're dealing with. Again, it brings us to the point again of why we organise these one point. After that point, this is the interment form. This gives the details of, again, the person's death, where they're going to be buried, the details of the grave. Some points filled, some are ignored, but like again, people will run through that. And then from that point, once that's completed, we'll have one of these. So this is the green form that Mufti Sahib was on about. This was then given to Thornhill of the graveyards, and it identifies who's being buried, where they're being buried, and then after that it goes.
Where's the one you put one? Where do we get this one?
This one at the moment, so if you're dealing, most people are dealing with Medina Masjid, or the funeral directors, they'll give this to you.
That's only Medina was.
At the moment, if there's any other funeral
Yeah,
directors,
we got few funerals, like we got Salam
Salam funeral.
and White Rose, and we got Medina Masjid.
Uthman, you don't have that?
Yeah.
It's all the same.
I'm independent, yes.
Yeah. So we can get it for you, anyone you're dealing with. Again, it brings us to the point again of why we organise these events and where we're from and what organisation. So I'd like to thank Mufti Sahib for giving us the opportunity to come here. Jazakallah for everyone for coming. But the organisation that brings this in the last few masjids is our organisation called Cardiff Janaza Support. It's a voluntary system that we set up maybe 4 or 5 years ago. The base of it and the reason why we set it up was to just train the local community, the youngsters especially, on how to deal with death. So from the point of death, before death, even when someone's ill, like we mentioned earlier, how to identify someone's dying and what to do in those points, bringing those connections with the local GPs, the doctors, and it trains everyone for that process. Again, those volunteers are requested to sign up with us if they can amongst their own masjids. This is the 4th program that's been taken, that's been done, and there's a registration piece here. For the youngsters especially, I advise all the youngsters. Alhamdulillah, every other masjid that we've gone to, we've had at least 5 volunteers sign up from each masjid. If you scan this on your phone, there's a form there. In those you fill your details out, and then it comes to us. Eventually, when we've done all the masjids, we're going to do one event with all the volunteers. That will be a bit more in-depth of what to do in terms of Ghusl, Janaza, burials, and then we'll do some extra workshops as well. Again, this is all done with the guidance of the ulama. We don't know anything about that. They guide us in it. So again, Jazakallah khair. The form's here. If there's any questions,
have you got any volunteers ready from our masjid? Brother Abdul Rahman is ready. Anyone else, please? Hafiz Faisal, Adil, Brother Abdul Hamad, 4. So you start on Rahman.
if you scan this, you put your details in, and again, like I said, there'll be another event inshallah once all the masjids.
Yeah, and Hafiz Bilal. So we've got 7 people ready here now. Yeah? So fill this form in, and we'll train you more inshallah. Hafiz Sahib will organize the training in all the masajid. So yeah, Jazakallah khair for participating in this program. Inshallah we do, and we're going to do a sisters one inshallah soon. I do because the sisters need to know how to give ghusl. But remember, the people are asking the ghusl, you just have to wash the body. Yeah? It doesn't have to be like this. It's a sunnah to be like this, but you can wash it any way you want to.